What is blockchain? Have you always wanted to know what blockchain is and why people keep talking about it? Well, you're in luck. In this video, I'll explain in plain English and simply what blockchain is, how it works, and why it's so important. Let's get started. So what is blockchain? At its core, a blockchain is not so different from a regular database. It stores information on things that happened in the past with unique attributes such as decentralization. No single party has control over what information goes in. Consensus. Many different parties store exact copies of the same ledger, so the majority has to agree on the information being added. Add only, meaning you can't edit what's already there, you can only add information. New information can't conflict with what's already been added. Information is able to be accessed and replicated on the whole network. The most important feature of a blockchain is the decentralization aspect. Copies of a blockchain ledger are stored and updated on computers all over the world, meaning that there is no central authority to make decisions. At its core, a blockchain is not so different from a regular database. It stores information on things that happened in the past, but with unique attributes. Let's take a look at a Bitcoin transaction as an example of how blockchain works. Now, Bitcoin is just one possible application of blockchain technology. Blockchain is to Bitcoin what the internet is to email. Let's say I have one Bitcoin and I want to send it to you. Everybody who holds a copy of the Bitcoin ledger can see that I have one Bitcoin and you have 0. But on the Bitcoin network, our identities are relatively private. I can then send you one Bitcoin and the network will see this and immediately update every ledger. But what if I'm greedy and want to try and cheat the network? I could change my copy of the ledger to say I have 2 Bitcoins, send you one, and use the other to buy myself something nice. But in the history of the Bitcoin network, this act of double spending has never happened. And this is why. Blockchain security. So to understand how and why blockchains are so resistant to tampering and fraud, we need to understand how they work. Without getting too technical, let's take a look under the hood to see what's going on. So the information is stored on a blockchain is in groups called blocks, and each block is timestamped and linked to the one generated before it in time, creating a linear chain of blocks, hence the name blockchain. Each of these blocks contain 3 types of information. You've got data on transactions, the block's hash, the hash of the previous block. This is really important, so bear with me while I explain what a hash is. Essentially, it's like a block's fingerprint, a unique string of numbers that identifies each block. The numbers are automatically calculated based on the information stored in the block. If you change the information in the block, you change the hash, and therefore the block's identity. The hash of the previous block also sits in each block, which is what creates the chain of blocks, and is what makes a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin so secure. Now take a look at this image. Each block contains the 3 elements listed above, but watch what happens when I try to tamper with the information in block number 2 to give myself that extra Bitcoin. Block 3 contains the hash of block 2, but when block 2 is changed, so does its hash, meaning everything in block 3 and beyond becomes invalid, breaking the chain. I then need to recalculate the hashes of every block that has changed. But it doesn't stop there. The Bitcoin network makes it intentionally difficult to find these hashes. On average, the hash for a block is found every 10 minutes by computers constantly guessing random numbers and seeing if one fits. It's actually a lot more complicated than this, but it's like solving big Sudoku puzzles. And this process is called proof of work and is done by powerful computers called miners. So for every block I stuffed up, it would take me 10 minutes of intense calculations to mine each block and find the correct hashes. And that's just for my copy of the ledger. The Bitcoin ledger exists on thousands of computers all over the world. So to fake that transaction, I need to somehow get access to over 50% of the computers and repeat the mining process for all the ledgers I can control. And this is insanely expensive from a computational standpoint, as I need an almost impossible number of computers to pull it off. So it's pretty easy to see that blockchains are incredibly resistant to fraud and why they're considered trustless. It's in everyone's best interest to play by the rules. So why is this all that important? And that's a very good question. So blockchain technology is still very much in its infancy, but promises to revolutionize many different industries, such as banking and payments. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, Monero, Zcash are making the storage and transfer of value simpler and cheaper by removing the need for middlemen such as banks. Governments can use blockchains to implement secure and accurate voting, public record keeping, citizen identification IDs, and border control. Healthcare. Medical records are notoriously inaccurate and difficult to transfer. If they were hosted on a blockchain, they would be secure, accurate, and easily accessible by approved parties. Supply chain. Want to know if these apples are actually organic or if that diamond ring is sourced ethically? Putting goods like these on the blockchain would allow consumers and businesses to gain greater transparency on the life cycle of their products. Insurance. No more calling up and hassling your insurer for weeks before getting your payout. With the implementation of smart contracts, like with Ethereum, on the blockchain, insurers would be able to instantly accept and pay out claims to customers based on predefined rules. So this is just a taste of what blockchain is capable of. Some or none of this may eventually come to pass, but the technology is fascinating and existing nonetheless. Very exciting. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. If you like this type of content, then don't hesitate to subscribe. I create news videos and market updates on a weekly basis. So have a great day and catch you on the next one. Bye bye.